Group feedback back. Business resources assignment 2. Um, Most people had a really good attempt at this assignment. However, there were general problems which we need to talk through. 2 tips, which I would say for every assignment: read the brief. It's amazing how many people haven't read the brief and now have been referred. It will cause you less grief and it will save you time if you just read it and action it in the first place. Secondly, you can watch a business resources assignment 2 video. That's there to support it and actually give you more of an explanation than what's on the brief. That's what I would give you in class before the assignment. I'd suggest you watch it instead of ignoring it. It should help you. So according to BTEC rules, I'm restricted on giving you individual feedback, but I can point out general errors that you've all made. As a result, the video is shortened to the point. So these are general errors which you've made. I've got some examples in it. Everyone's nameless, but it should highlight the kind of problems that I face when marking it and the reasons why I can't actually give you credit or marks for certain things. So P1 was done really well, to be fair. Most people got it. The only reason people didn't get it is because they didn't read the brief. So postal descriptions, and most people did that. Job advert, most people did that and did it well. Person specification, some people didn't bother looking at the actuals and the desirables. That needs to be blocked in or highlighted. Job description was done really well, and the application form, some people didn't fill it in. It's kind of carelessness, so please make sure you read the brief next time, but most people did it really well. P2 really was probably you guys not being experienced with BTEC and the way it's marked. Not my fault or not your fault either, it's just experience. I would say that about 60% of people got it, 40% didn't. You had to write an email for Jasmine and Nathaniel that explains the reason why these skills are important. Be sure to include skills from all 3 categories and explain why they're needed in order to be able to carry out that job role. These are the 3 roles. This is directly taken from the brief. Employability skills. Lots of you mentioned qualifications and experience, but you didn't actually group it as employability skills, so I had to refer you because of that. Personal skills, again, the same problem. Lots of you talked about being patient and hard-working, but a lot of you didn't actually mention what personal skills were, so you were referred, which is a bit of a shame, really. Communication skills, a lot of you mentioned what those were. So very few people got referred on that bit, but make sure you refer to all 3 and all 3 categories. Well, these are the 3 real issues that came out when I was marking this section in P2. First issue, this is someone who wrote an okay piece, but it was lacking in detail, and really it doesn't really link to a specific job role. It needs to. So for example, it needs to link to a customer service assistant or to whatever role it was meant to be for, and it also needs to be expanded upon. This just simply isn't enough work for me to actually say it or pass it, so I would say it would need to say how and why. So communication, that's just defining what it is. It's not actually saying why would you need it for that role. So for example, if you're a customer service assistant, you would need it to communicate with customers, to be polite. Quite simple. If you're in the kitchen and you're a chef, you might need to give instructions to people, and you might need to listen to other people's instructions and problems. Those are examples of how that can be used. You need to put that into your assignments. Next one. So not explaining in full. Again, this is another example where someone's put in a skill, but they haven't really said how. So a bit like the last one, just being a bit airy-fairy. You need to think how and why. This is NAM criteria, so it's a significant step up over the past criteria. you need to really think about what kind of interpersonal skills you would need and actually how it would benefit that role and why is it actually needed, and try and justify it. This is what we talked about in the brief. It doesn't really, this happened to a lot of people where it didn't really link to employability skills, personal skills, or communication skills either. So this was about computers. It doesn't link to those three. It was just a skill which was used, which is fine, except it needs to be linked to one of these three, okay? Either employability, personal skill, or communication skill. If you get stuck, look in your notes. The workbook is there to help you. Okay, and there are some tips on the other video, which I won't repeat here, but equally employability and personal skills need to be highlighted, okay? It needs to be highlighted and needs to be shown really, really clearly in your assignment. Please look in your booklet and it will come up there. And if you've lost your booklet, if you look on Moodle assignment 2, you'll be able to find it. So M2. How will recruiting people with the right skills help the business perform when it's opened? So this was just adding to the memo. That was one point. I don't think it was really addressed properly. I don't think you really were specific enough about what was needed. Maybe thinking about like how teamwork could help someone, or something like a personal skill. So like a kitchen might need a good chef to improve its reputation or something like that. Something like that which shows an impact that's M level thinking. How will ensuring that people have the right employability and personal skills feel about their job and levels of motivation within the company? Maybe it's worth talking about both a positive and a negative. So maybe if someone had the right employability skills, how much more effective would they be at their job? Vice versa, think about it the other way around. How might it affect costs and profits? Think about how productive someone might be if they're in the right job role. Also, what would happen if someone isn't in the right job role? How can it impact on their performance? Why are employability and personal skills important for staff and retention? This wasn't really tackled at all well. It's that whole concept of staff retention. That's about keeping your staff. Why is it important to keep your staff? It was stressed in the explanation for the assignment brief, and it was stressed about what the benefits are of that. I would strongly recommend you relook at that again. Okay, so this was basically, it didn't really address the brief. It should really talk about what the whole point is of recruiting someone and why it's important to recruit them, and why it's important to have the right people in the right job. It's got to be linked to what you're actually doing, and it doesn't really address the question. The question is not asking about the recruitment process, it's asking, we need to have the right person. So what benefit does that give? You've got the right chef. Let's say you've got a Chinese chef who specialises in Chinese cooking in an Italian restaurant. It's not going to work. You need to think about those kind of things. You need to think about the right person for the right role. How's that going to fit and affect the business? This was the retention issue again. It's not really explained, or it's not really justified. You need to really expand and think, why is it so important to have staff retention issues, okay? Why is it important to keep staff? Why is it important to keep them within the organisation? What are the costs associated with that? You need to really expand upon that. I can't give you the answer, but I can just say, please look at it again, okay? It's a general error. I hope you found this useful and helpful. Thanks very much. Bye.